And what a week in football. 1-1, and the Pies had their first win side by sides, celebrating their first win of the season. How bloody awesome, boys.
Nothing better than beating a rival like Carlton, boys. It was a really good win for us. What did you see out of the game, Archie?
Yeah, it was. I had my doubts going into the game. Like I think most Collingwood supporters did. You know, arch rival, you don't want to be losing them games early in the season. But to play the way we did, it seemed pretty convincing. I think we could have won by a lot more. I think, but happy to get the 4 points, I think.
And 51,000 at the G. Finally good to play at the spiritual home again. And it was just awesome just to see Collingwood playing their brand of footy in and under. Taylor Adams playing exactly how we want to see Collingwood to play, just dirty, get the nose dirty, get the hands dirty, and just absolutely going to town and contested. And that's what we saw. Wasn't there a big disparity in the contested possessions, actually, that probably decided the game, I reckon?
Yeah, so it was 145 to 126. And the week before against the Bulldogs, we got smashed. I think we got beaten by 25 in that week. So just the turnaround, hunting the footy was massive. Just touching on that also, we've seen last quarter, I think there was 10 minutes to go, I don't know, maybe even less than that, but Adams' chase down the forward 50 was unbelievable. Did you see that, Dan?
Oh, yeah, it was unreal. It was like a goal-saving tackle, so... And they were like coming back then too, Carlton. They had
absolutely.
A sniff then.
Yeah, absolutely. So just seeing that from our vice captain, soon to be captain in my beliefs, I just think it was a big change around at the coalface. We had to win the ball. Carlton obviously quick on the outside, so to stop them doing that, I think was pretty impressive, Butsy.
Yeah, really good. So yeah, looking at the top, the best for the night. Starting with Taylor Adams, best on. Very stiff to not give it to Darcy Moore, second best. Jordan De Goey, with 4 goals in a star performance. Third best. Pendlebury continuing to do what he does, which is astonishing at his age. Crisp, over 30 touches, and Noble, who I'm really, really loving on the wing, giving plenty of drive and a lot of inside 50s with 23 touches, rounds out the best. Were any of them that you were really impressed with, actually?
Yeah, I think you just touched on Pendlebury then. He made a few mistakes, but for him to get 30, 11 scoring involvements, 2 goal assists, 6 inside 50s, you know, he's the driving force, obviously, in that team. And I thought he had a great game again. Jordan De Goey obviously kicked 4 in the first half, sort of went more in the midfield, but didn't get much of the ball in the last half. One bloke I'm really surprised he didn't get the best, actually, probably my favourite Collingwood player, Brady Myercheck. Kicked 3 goals. He went at 100% efficiency, 4 contested, 5 scoring involvements, 3 inside 50s. You know, I think he had a really solid game. But obviously, we had a lot of good players on the night, Dan.
Yeah, well, it was interesting actually watching Scott Pendlebury because I don't know if you boys noticed, but he spent a lot of time up forward. I don't know if they want him coming out of forward half and then being that kind of kick that spots someone up in the forward 50, if that's what they're thinking of doing. And it was interesting to see De Goey. Obviously, we thought he was going to get a bit more mid-time, but by that game, he's probably going to be spending a bit more time forward now after a tragic injury that we will talk about to Jamie Elliott. But I also enjoyed that one-on-one battle with Darcy Moore and Harry Mackay, especially going in back 50. Some people seem to say that, that Mackay, obviously kicked 4 goals, so he probably had the better day on him. But one-on-one, Darcy Moore won way more. The amount of defensive marks he took on Harry Mackay. Harry Mackay would just flop and fall over, and Darcy just be standing there clunking a mark. It was unreal. It was a good display. Also, one that we didn't mention that I thought played really well after, especially last week, was Brody Grundy. 51 hit-outs, I believe. And, him and Taylor Adams, they just worked really well. Got a lot of centre clearances, and I think we would have, obviously we won the clearances, which was unreal. And we managed to take out blokes like Paddy Cripps out of the game, which was great. Yeah, that's pretty much my summary of that.
And it was great to see, actually just mentioning before the podcast, Collingwood hasn't kicked more than 100 points in a long, long time. It's probably definitely not last year. It was really hard to get to 100 last year in shortened quarters. But yeah, goal kickers, DeGoey 4, Mychek 3, Elliott 2 before injury. Cox, who I was really, really impressed with. And it shows you what you can do when you actually use him properly. Kick it to him. Kick it in front of him, kick it 10 metres in front of him, hit it on someone's head, bang. Side bottom, Hoskin, Elliott, Dacos, Adams, Rusco. Yeah, really, really solid and a good rounded performance. It shows you there were a lot of winners on the day.
Yeah, just one more thing about the scoring. We actually had 12 less inside 50. So they had 60 for 20 scoring shots, and we had 26 for 48 scoring shots. So we're going at 54% efficiency inside 50, whether that be a goal or a point. But if you're going at 54%, you're going to win more games than you lose, aren't you?
Absolutely. And I don't know, what do you guys think about the clearance rates? And it's the same with Max Gawn and Melbourne. They're not a great clearance side. But I just don't understand how you can have such a really dominant ruckman and lose the clearances. Carlton won the clearances by 5, but Pitnet was useless. I know. Obviously, you're reading other rucks taps, but JP, surely you can do better than that. You should be smashing them in the clearance, or at least evening them, not losing.
Yeah, I think opposition teams would spend a power of work during the week, with the ruck. Like they're almost rucking the Grundy in a way every week, aren't they? The opposition midfielders. So I think it's just a guessing game half the time because ruckman obviously can't hit it to our blokes all the time. Same as Gorm with Melbourne. Nat Nui. The dominant rucks tend to get rucked to by the opposition midfield. So I think it's just a matter of Collingwood and the midfield group sort of working on ways to nullify the opposition midfield. Daniel?
Yeah, no, I agree. But that seems to be an issue that a lot of teams are having at the moment, as actually touched on. That
But then again, you look at the dominant teams in the competition who are a good clearance team, like your Richmonds, your Geelongs, your Brisbanes. Those three sides don't even have great ruckman.
Yeah, that's my point, but so the opposition wouldn't spend time analysing the ruckman because they know it's going to be a 50-50 ruck contest. Whereas with Grundy, Gorn, Nat Nui, you know that they're going to win the ruck contest 8 times out of 10, which happens every week.
So you play their hitting zone. Like you're watching to see where their hands are going. So it's basically just 50-50. But yeah, that's what the rucks need to work on with their midfield group. Try to find ways to bring them out, taps out the back of them. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And I think, and this is a stat that I love that really sums up the way Collingwood play when they're on song, and which is definitely why they won on the weekends. Collingwood had about 20 more possessions than Carlton on the night, but actually ended up having 24 more tackles, which is absolutely awesome. It just shows you hard nosed. Just those 1%ers and just doing the team things and just getting them through, getting the basic things through. Like you don't have to be good at you don't have to have any possessions to be a good player on the day. Taylor Adams dominated seven tackles, Grundy 6, Dacos 5. They're just really, really good numbers. So even Pendlebury 5, the old fella. So that's really good to see.
One thing we probably forgot to touch on was probably side bottom coming back into the side. He was so good by foot. Like just his decision making. Yeah, definitely. Well, he had 14 kicks to 6 handballs. So
yeah,
he was really good by foot.
And we said before the season, boys, that the reason that Collingwood are going to win a lot of games is because of their really good defence. And again, that showed on the weekend. Outside of Harry Mackay, I don't really think they had anyone that looked too dangerous back there.
They had Jack Martin for a period of the game. I thought looked dangerous, but he always does that in games. But then he sort of just fades away, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Gibbons was good, but they were really tough chances. But yeah, I think I just think it was a really strong defensive performance.
One bloke I want to touch on here is Jack Chris. Obviously, he led the game. He led the game 6+ possessions, but also he had the 8 clangers. Like, he's a catch 22, isn't he? Like, you love when he gets the ball because he runs and that, but his kicking sometimes is heart in your mouth stuff, isn't it? Coming out the back line when he goes in board or he tries to bite a bit more than he can chew. Like, he went at 68%, which is pretty impressive. He had 18 contested. But it's just I'm a bit worried about him with his ball use, boy. I don't know why. Just the turnovers are too costly in the middle of the ground.
I think the reliance on him is a lot greater back there as well. Maynard probably hasn't been as like last year, and Noble not being there either. Yeah, I think he's taking a lot more of them riskier kicks, if that makes sense.
Yep.
That's probably why, because typically he's just a really outside player. Had 15 contested possessions on the weekend, I think. Yeah. What do we think about Maynard? He only had 13 touches on the weekend.
It was a very quiet night for him.
Yeah, I don't know if that 2 weeks in a row for him where he's been probably not quite where he was. I think teams would be definitely putting a little bit more work into him after last year.
Yeah, I mean, everyone looked quiet last week. But
that's 2 in a row, though.
He was one of our leading possession winners. He got 21 disposals against Bulldogs, and our highest was 25 with Pendlebury.
No, he played well against the Dogs. He had 85% efficiency, 7 scoring involved. I thought he played well the first week.
I didn't think he was great 2 weeks ago. Anyway.
All right, just a little bit of light-hearted stuff right now. What are your thoughts on Coxie's celebration when he gets up and go and he gives a point to the crowd?
Buzzie's not a big fan of Coxie, so this will be interesting.
No, can I actually start this?
Here we go.
So I genuinely hate. I actually hate him, but when Collingwood are on song is when Mason Cox is up and about, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks about him. And this is like genuine now. I've gone a full 360 with him. I love when he's up and about because that means Collingwood's playing well. That means he plays his best footy when he's arrogant and he's not soft. So I want him to keep doing it. I've seen him walk over rants, and I think that's really disrespectful. But yeah, giving it to the crowd, I love that. Absolutely love that type of stuff. Danny?
No, it was a good call, Butsy. I was just interested because I knew your opinion on him, and I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting the complete opposite. Yeah, well, obviously, I don't have an issue with it.
I still think he needs to be a 50-goal-a-year player. Really, that's where he's got to be able to get to. If finals bound, he's got to be kicking at least 2 a week.
Yeah, probably now. There's probably more chances to kick goals more than ever. No, I'd probably agree that he probably should get around that 50 mark. They need to play him they bring him up too far down the ground. I don't know why. I think you just got to leave him deep.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Once he's up, he's just out of. If it gets behind him, he's just out of it. Once it hits the deck, he can't do much. So his best work's done in 450.
So obviously, 1-1 now in the season. 4 days time. Collingwood play Brisbane at the Gabba. 7:40 start.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't reckon they will, to be honest.
No. So it's been confirmed by the AFL that the game will go ahead, whether it's at the Gabba or somewhere else. They're thinking the MCG will be the possible other one because
it will be.
Collingwood play Brisbane in round 23 at the MCG, so it's an easy switch there. So that will happen. I'm very I remember putting on the group chat today. Brisbane are still stuck in Victoria. They don't have anything. They went shopping today because they've got the bare minimum. They're only supposed to stay in Geelong for a night, and then they're flying out. They played on Friday, and it's now Sunday. They'll be there tomorrow as well. I think this has really disrupted their preparations. And they played some really, really good football on the weekend, so it's going to be real tough. But I think this COVID stuff has really made the game a little bit more even than we thought it might be.
Well, it's just a bit shooing on their foot, isn't it? Obviously, they had the luxury of being home most of the season last year. Obviously, it's unfortunate for anyone.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't mind if it just switches around. I think it's much easier if they. But then they also can't spend all week here, so that. Yeah, I'm not too sure what they're going to do. The AFL will figure it out.
Okay.
I don't mind.
So looking at the game, actually, I think this is a very Brisbane are going to be one of the toughest teams in the comp. Obviously, we know that after the last 2 years making back-to-back prelims. What result would you be happy with? What result would you be happy with? So my feeling is within 5 goals. I'd be happy with.
I think we can give them a real. I think we can give them a real shake. I think if we do play in Brisbane, we travel super well. We played together. I think 12 times last season in the hub. I think it was 10, 11 or 12 times. I think we match up well with them because they obviously have Danaher and Hipwood, so I think we have plenty of coverage for them too.
We'll go through that. Yeah.
Realistically, I think 2 or 3 goals, if not make it real close.
I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm more on Atchie's point of view. You just want it to be competitive, though. It's not more about the scoreline. It's just what you see out there. It'll be more about visuals than what the result is. If we're going to lose,
And
look, Matt, there's no reason why we can't win the game either.
Absolutely. I can.
If they go 0-3, their season's pretty much top 4's pretty much gone, isn't it? So pressure's on them, not us.
Yeah. So looking at the matchups, and we'll start with our back line versus the Brisbane forward line. So you've got obviously the key tools. Do you want to go through the match here? So you've got Danaher.
Yeah. So I think.
Who do you think he'll play on?
I think more goes to Hipwood, and I think Roughhead goes to Danaher. I think last year Danaher wasn't there. I don't know. I think Hipwood's more dangerous. I think Hipwood's a very good footballer. So I'd like to see more. Although Hipwood does push up the ground more than Danaher, so we want more sort of back there in interception, don't we? So maybe more on Danaher, Roughhead on Hipwood.
And then you've got Tom Fullerton. He's sort of the backup ruckman with Oscar McInerney, which wouldn't surprise me as well if Oscar McInerney didn't play next week. Had a really bad ankle. Ended up being subbed, but they've got the backup there in Fullerton anyway. But you'd probably say who would go to Madgen would go to the second ruckman. Would we agree with that?
Yeah.
Yep, and then in their Brisbane's forward line, they've got Charlie Cameron and So, which is interesting because we were talking about this the other week.
It could be Quaynor again. Yeah, it's either one of them two.
Yeah, because who did Quaynor play on? He played on in round 1. No, round 2. Was it? Who was it? Anyway, Quaynor took the dangerous small forward.
Mitch Wallace.
Yeah, Mitch Wallace. Yep. So Charlie Cameron on him. Speed's going to be a big thing there. I'd probably think Maynard might go to him this week.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just quickly, boys, with that McInerney thing, what a fastball this sub is. He come back on, played a quarter and a half, and then got subbed off. How is that possible in this rule?
I think you have to miss a week. I think if you get subbed,
it's absolutely rubbish rule. I'm sorry, it's just ridiculous.
Did Vlosten play today?
No.
Who?
Vlosten didn't play.
No, the only player that come back and played the next week from last week was Aiden Core for North Melbourne.
Yeah. Okay. But you can't go off and then come back on and then get subbed off again because your ankle's sore. I think that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, that's another story. So then they line up with Callum Archie, really good ball user, Zach Bailey, who's actually played some really good footage so far this year, and Lincoln McCarthy. I really can't see any of those three doing too. I'm not worried about them. That's how I'll say it.
Good players, good player that Bailey though. I've been watching him real carefully. He's a very, very good.
He's had a great start to the year, hasn't he?
He should have had a game winner on the weekend.
Pardon?
Should have had a game winner on the weekend.
He should have. I see probably going to Bailey would be the other one. You're out of Quaynor and At Maynard. Yep. Then we go through the midfield, and this is pretty interesting. So they run pretty deep through the midfield. They've got Hugh McCluggage, Dane Zorko. They've got Lockie Neal, who has been pretty rubbish so far this year. We'll talk about that tag in a minute if he gets one. Jared Lyons, who's not too bad in there. Jared Berry will come back in, who has been playing some good midfield time. That pretty much rounds out their midfield. How do we think we're going to go? Actually, probably the question is, do you think there's going to be a tag on the weekend with Lockie Neal?
I don't think they'll
Nope.
start with a tag. If he gets unleashed, obviously, they might move someone. If they generally tag someone, they generally use Pendlebury.
Pendlebury, yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They will not start, I don't believe. Not hard anyway. Pendlebury might stick with him on, obviously, centre bounces and contested. That'll be interesting to see what happens.
But with Elliott being out, do you think that Greenwood will come in? And if he does, that pushes to go sort of more forward. And Greenwood's obviously a good run with player.
No.
Would you just sit him on?
Greenwood's a defender. I would be more open to the option that probably Maine probably gets into the side.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but Main's been our main on the wing though. That's the only problem. I honestly think we just play midfield versus midfield. I think.
Yeah, I think that. I think Maine will come in for Elliott as well, Daniel. Depends how the Magnets move it. It's probably I'd be happy with Greenwood and Maine. They're probably the two ones that are standouts, I think.
Yeah, agree.
So yeah, obviously they've got a really well drilled midfield. But then this is where I think we can absolutely exploit them, and I think the Brisbane backline is. I don't think it's as good as people think, and I think this is where they can be beaten. We saw on the weekend that Harris Andrews got torn apart by Hawkins. That's very hard to do. So obviously Andrews will go to Cox, but I see their big opportunities for Mychek to go to really go after and kick some goals again. And I can see Collingwood scoring around at least 80 points, which would give them red hot crack.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's interesting because obviously Harris Andrews is a gun of a player. I'll be interested to see if he lines up on Coxie because it wouldn't surprise me. There's the other key tool they have. I'm trying to remember.
Ryan Lester or Payne?
Payne.
I was thinking Lester, to be honest.
Lester's a halfback flanker.
Jack Payne, yeah.
Were they missing someone from their side? I swear there was another key defender. I can't remember.
Yeah, he's just been injured. Someone.
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, yep. He's like number 28 or something.
McStay? Is it McStay?
Nah.
Well, on the weekend, they ran with Andrews, Lester, Young Berry, Starchevich, Rich, and Payne. So then they only had the two big tools, which was Payne and Andrews.
Yeah.
What's his name? No, I can't even give you his name. No, anyway, we'll scrap that. But yeah, Payne actually was in their prelim. Payne actually played.
McStay, I was right.
No, he's a forward.
Dan McStay hasn't played a game yet, I don't think, has he?
No, he hasn't played this year, actually.
No, he hasn't.
Darcy Gardner, there you go. Number 20.
Darcy Gardner's out. He's out.
Yeah, number 27. Yeah,
he's out. He's out. Yeah.
So yeah, I can see matching up pretty well. I think that's the chance to beat him is if we can kick goals. I'm not sure who's going to go to DeGoey. That'll be pretty interesting. I feel like he's played pretty well. He hasn't obviously gone to the midfield like we thought he would as much. But yeah,
that could be maybe like a Birchall or a Ridge. Maybe they haven't got a plethora.
They wouldn't
maybe
like
Starchevich.
I reckon Ryan Lester. I reckon Ryan Lester might go to him.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
He's pretty. Yeah, a Lester or maybe a Starkovich. I think Rich and Birchall are way too slow.
See, is this opportunity where we can bring a Darcy Cameron in? And
absolutely.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we have to bring in, maybe even drop my two least favourite players, Thomas and Hoskin Elliott. I think,
Especially,
just
especially if Oscar McInerney is out as well. Really expose him with that ruck.
absolutely.
I can see a lot of merit in it. And there's your replacement for Elliott anyway, I think.
Yeah, it could well be. It could well be that swap, couldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be
But
really
I
interesting.
think the weather's only thing. So just on the weather now, and it's going to be raining, and it's going to be a wet day in Brisbane. So
Which
could
I
go
think
either way.
absolutely goes into Collingwood's hands.
Yeah,
Very,
easy.
very good team, the wet. Buddy, what's his name? Who goes to absolute town when it's wet? Midfielder's
Adams.
name? Yeah, Taylor Adams loves it.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
I don't know. I don't think we stack up too well on the wet, but that'd be interesting. I think we really rely on our marking ability, and the wet really affects that, obviously. In our back half, we like to intercept mark, and if we can't do that, then I think it's going to be scrappy, and we got a lot of tall backs.
Yeah. So pushing on to our certainty of the week, and what was the other one actually? The
big call. Just
big
recapping from the first week. Dan said to go with 20 touches. I think he only had 11 on 9. I think in the first round, Dan. So you were
yeah, boys.
And my one was Geelong by 10 goals.
Yours was a lot worse than mine.
So I think mine was the worst one. Yeah, mine was the worst for the week. And yours, Butsy, you had 2 big calls for the year, didn't you? You had Braden Steer to average 20,
and I think he's close to getting dropped.
I think he literally had like
10 or 11.
9 in the first game. And what did he have the other night? Probably wouldn't be much more than that either.
Yeah, but my other call.
What was the other call?
Dustin Martin to win the Brownlow. He's on 6 votes already.
Yeah. Oh, maybe not today.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's had 28 touches and a goal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he will.
The umpires will give it to him. Let's be honest.
Who else is going to... And you got to remember, he had 3 goals this.
I think Blake Hardwick had an absolute day out, but anyway.
Yeah, I can't see.
15 marks that Blake Hardwick had, 31 touches. Come on.
I'm seeing Martin getting votes there.
All right. Anyway,
big calls. My big calls are North Melbourne won't win a game this year.
Oh, that was gonna be mine. You are
dead set. I'm a big North supporter, and I watched the first quarter, and I literally turned it off and watched St Kilda versus Melbourne the rest of the game. I didn't even know what the end result was until looking at it right now. So we lost by 59 points.
Just going on that, Matt, just quickly, if you don't win a game, that you'll be the first team since Fitzroy in 1964 to go winless.
1960. There you go. And my other big call is I can see Zach Butters. I watched him on the weekend. He had 36. Just watch him play, guys. He's just phenomenal.
He's a freak.
Phenomenal footy smarts. Very severely underrated. My call is I think he's going to be an All-Australian this year.
He was very close last year. He was in the squad, wasn't he? So I think he's getting rated now.
He's getting rated, but just watching him on the way, he was brilliant for Port. He was clearly their best on. And last week as well, he had... What did he have last week?
He had a few last week.
Yeah, it wasn't as many, but... he had 2 goals and 16. Yeah, that's right. He played half forward. But yeah, that's my call. Danny boy?
Danny?
Well, big call. It'll be interesting based off what you said. I am going to say North knockover Bombers this weekend. I really don't rate the Bombers. And it wouldn't surprise me if North come out thinking, oh, you know what, we might be able to win this one, boys. After last week, we're going to pull our asses out.
We play Bulldogs.
What?
We play Bulldogs.
Oh, I'm thinking... Wait, don't you guys normally play Easter?
No, we changed. Yeah, Good Friday. We used to play Essendon. We play Bulldogs now.
They don't play Essendon until round 10, so it could be waiting a while there.
Oh well, that can be one for the year. Uncertainty. don't really have one. Maybe you go actually, and I'll think about one.
My big call is Easter Monday. Hawthorn beat Geelong. It's just something about that day, isn't it? It's just something about that day.
You
I
serious?
think Hawthorn. I
You're
watched
dreaming.
Hawthorn game today, and no, just listen for a second.
Tell him he's dreaming.
The way Hawthorn played, like you've seen Hawthorn today, they had multiple opportunities to go forward in the middle of the ground and just turned it over. Like if they can fix that up against the Cats, like obviously, I just think there's a weakness there for Geelong, and I think Hawthorn can win the game.
I think it'll be close. Cats by 10 goals.
Oh Jesus! It's a big call for a reason. It's not my certainty. It's a big call.
10 goals. Daniel?
Oh,
you still going, actually?
My certainty, Port beat West Coast comfortably in Optus Stadium next Saturday night.
I like that. That'd be a big game.
I think Port are so fun to watch already this season, and West Coast should sound a bit lackluster. Like McGovern is not firing. Like Hearn played well today, but yeah, if they can stop their big three like McGovern, Kennedy, like Gaff's been off. I just think Port will be way too good.
Yeah, and I would like a weekly call. I can see Melbourne beating Giants starting 3-0, and I'm tipping Melbourne to be top 6.
Top
Easy
6.
I'm tipping
Gee,
Melbourne
we
to
change your tune from when I done my big call about them Goulburn getting sacked.
top 6.
I don't think they'll finish
Creepers,
top 6.
creepers.
That's a big call.
Daniel to finish off.
Oh, mate, I don't really have one to be honest.
Come on, you have a crack.
Can't think of anything on the spot. Maybe I'll just say to go to bag another forward this week.
That's your certainty.
That's my certainty, mate. Absolute certainty. There's no doubt about it. Kicks ball.
In the wet against Brisbane. Thank you for coming.
Pod by 10.
Awesome, boys. Thank you for another ripper podcast. Really good to do it on a winning note. It was an awesome game. Have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely week, and look forward to talking about Thursday night's game against the Brisbane Bears / Fitzroy / the Lions.
Let's get the dub.
Thanks, boys.